Graduated, elevated, now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Graduated, elevated, now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Major moves, power moves.
No, I certainly it's very important that we do take care of them, because what I've observed in other industries, they will have them as consultants. They will say when you reach this age, they can give you a retirement package, then you can come as a consultant, or you come now and then, because they need their knowledge. I think it was going, I think the 3 years ago, where the Department of Health, they were requesting all those guys who have resigned to come back and teach the young ones. So they come in as consultant to teach them to transfer the skills that they have. Yeah.
I like that, but I'm going to move on now to somebody who's very controversial, and I'm not sure if I'm going to if that's the right name, but I think that is the right name. Malemba said something in regards to students, and I think it's a valid point to say they go to university or university in terms of our language, and they pick certain degrees that really don't have any jobs. For example, I think he made a reference to geography and history. And no, I'm not picking on anybody that's doing that, basically.
I understand.
And he was like, you go there, you're living your best life, and you're finished, and then there's no job. So the education aspect, do you think we need to educate? I mean, he was very passionate, and I think his message wasn't received well when he shared the information, but I saw the value of what he was saying, and I think it is valid, because we'll go and do journalism, but nowadays TikTok is journalism, isn't it?
True.
Literally. And not to take away from anybody who's a journalist, but it's just one of those things. So what's your thought on that? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's quite correct. I think I like that individual, actually, because I think that's one of the main challenges that causes huge an escalation of unemployed graduates, because there are a number of qualifications that are redundant. For me, every 2 years, the Minister of Higher Education releases a document. It's called Scarce Skills List, where they tabulate all the jobs that are available, that are in demand, but no one is doing those qualifications. Sometimes we have to outsource those skills overseas. But for me, I think that particular document need to filter down to universities, especially public universities, because they still offer courses that are irrelevant anymore. You don't need those skills. We are talking about fourth industrial revolution. Certain work will be redundant in the next 10 years, will be taken over by the computers. So they need to look at the alignment of that, offering degrees that add value, that will take us somewhere as the country. Because the number of them, I won't mention their names really, but I really understand. It's different in private institutions. They offer less degrees or qualifications, but they talk to what the industry wants, because they engage with the industry. They've got that opportunity. So the public universities, there's a lot of shift that need to happen. Yes, that follower, it's quite on point in saying some qualifications are totally at no value in the development of the country. That's why you have a number of people that set qualifications without employment, because that's one of the main drivers really leading people being unemployed after receiving their qualifications. Yeah.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot. In your opinion, what are the top 3 courses or degrees that you think actually don't bother? You might as well stay at home. Go and work in informal employment and sit on the roadside and sell your onions, your tomatoes, because really it's not going to work. What are the top 3?
I think
I did say I was going to put you on the spot.
I think for me, I don't think it's necessary to even offer geography at school anymore. It has no relevance.
But we need to learn about the tectonic plates and how they hit each other, the earthquakes, discovery.
But we can have lesser, because sometimes, when people are having such qualifications, you can reduce the number of intakes in other qualifications, really. Not having 100 people that are graduating with a practical degree, they end up not getting employment. Because like some qualification, you can find out that they are offering a qualification like horticulture. Make an example. However, why can't they offer agriculture instead? Because agriculture gives you both. You can learn about animals and learn about plants. Just offer that. Not only learn about one element. Offer something that can give you both and also give you a competitive advantage. Not necessarily a qualification that you can see. No, if I have this qualification, where it will take me. Yeah. I think the other one as well that it seems to be dominating as well, perhaps can reduce the number of people, is journalism. It has no value that add into the industry anymore. Even if they take it, they can reduce the number of intakes.
Do you know, in the UK, that's the debate at the moment, because I think the university fees, they're £9,000 now, and people are walking away with a lot of deficits in terms of when they do finish. And we get student loans and they have interest. So you don't actually pay, you get the money, it's great, you're living your best life. And then when you finish, then you get your bill for 30,000 or £50,000 essentially. And then each year it has an interest, I think it's 3.5%. So if you don't get a job that pays you more than, I think it's 13,000 or £15,000, then you don't pay the money back. But they keep that open for 10 years. So at some point, remember the interest, it actually goes up.
It accumulates.
Literally, essentially, it's like having a mortgage, but you don't have a house to live in. But do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
But
it
all
is.
of this, in terms of most people in the UK, that is the path that we've gone for. If you see us with a degree, we've got a student loan, essentially. So we're actually in minus, even though we're living our best life in terms of the soft life. So literally, you have to bear that in mind. And you can scholarships, they are available, but again, it's competitive, as you know.
True.
And where I'm going to is with certain degrees, the the government, sorry, has come in and stated that, you know, for example, journalism and dance, why are you going to university to do that, essentially? And they're like, no, we need to take them off. And people are fighting back to say, well, I want to go there because I want to be like Piers Morgan, because I mean, he's well known for his work, for example. I'm just mentioning him. And, you know, people are really passionate about it. And they still see, in terms of radio, they still see, you know, TV as the biggest platform. But, you know, I've mentioned TikTok to say you can be a journalist on TikTok because people will follow you. True. And they'll watch your stuff, or on YouTube, essentially. So knowing that, do you still stand by your decision to say actually certain, because I mean, I'm comparing two countries that are different, but I'm giving you a bit of insight in terms of our reality. You know, do you still stand by that to say actually?
I still stand by my opinion because I strongly believe that let's take an example. You know, we have journalism on the radio station and on television. In most cases, you see the same faces.
You do.
So actually, when you're pumping out graduates every year, where are they going to be employed? Because if a province can have about 3 radio stations, so it literally can one station can employ about 9 people a day. If it's 24-hour station, it won't be more than 20 people that employ a day. I'm not counting people that are behind the background, just people that are in front of the camera or who are doing the active role. Technically, we don't have the market or the market for them. Rather, we reduce the numbers intakes at the university. I remember at some point they took a decision of closing down the colleges where they train teachers. But now they've noticed that there was less teacher available because everyone was going for teaching. Now they've had to outsource them somewhere from Zimbabwe. Like we've got about 200,000 teachers from Zimbabwe. So that's the challenge that they did. But for me, I don't think they should. They have to cut the numbers down, knowing that for this degree we need X amount of people and pump, so people can move the ideas and go to other qualifications that will add value to them, like healthcare, health sciences, and other qualifications that have got more demand in the country. Yeah.
I do understand But I have a question.
Yes.
And it links into to PR, because I think if you've studied journalism, you
Mm.
can work in the PR department of certain businesses. So there's still employment in that sense, or do you think actually you could do marketing and still work in PR?
Thank you. Thank you. You can-
Don't agree with me.
Like, if you are an employer, would you hire somebody with the journalism qualification instead of a marketing individual? For me, a marketing can give me a bit more of the work that I need. They can offer more. That's why certain qualifications need to merge and say, this one gives us 3 or 4 outcomes. Let's embark on that. This one gives us only one outcome. Let's just do away with that particular qualification. Then they have the kind of electives. If you want to specialize in journalism, you take additional modules on top of that. If you want to specialize in this, you take electives. So for me, I think it's more for structuring the qualification that you offer. It can solve the problems. Also, look at the numbers as well, because if you go to varsity, marketing, for instance, or journalism, the intake is always high. Go to science, they only take about 80 or 100 students. And they limit to that because they know when they pump them out in the system in 3 years down the line, it will the jobs they'll be absorbed by the industry. But in the other side, if you go for 300 and 500 people in first year, they will graduate without jobs. The numbers are huge. Then they have to revisit the concept of saying, what is not available in the country? Robotics, data scientists. We need those people. Channel the energy towards that, then we can see a difference. It's just it requires a political will, people that are quite focused. They understand where are we as a country, where we want to be in the next 5 or 10 years. Unfortunately, politicians they lack that skill.
Well, that's a different topic altogether. But if you had the opportunity right now, since you watched Dragon's Den, and you had to pitch to the politicians, I think it's Ramaphosa, isn't it?
Yes.
And then you've got Malema, who's still fighting the war, literally, and Madlozi, literally fighting. So if you could pitch to them right now and say, actually, I've been through the system, I've got my own kids, I can see the situation, it's not getting any better.
True.
What would you say?
For me, what I will say, basically, they have to start by getting rid of the old generation in parliament. That's the first thing. Because my worry there, you have people that are planning about the future that they won't be part of it.
Okay.
Getting more young people involved. Because, obviously, if you're having a senior person as a minister, the deputy should be a younger person so they can take over at some point in time, because those are the people that will take care of the country forward. And I will really urge them to focus on primary education. This promise starts there, to really look at what it is that we offer as the country. Because globally, they talk about fourth industrial revolution. But if there's a kid that doesn't know how to use a computer, or a kid that is not taught mathematics by a mathematician, it's a challenge. Similarly, you can't be led by a minister of education without a qualification education, because they have to look at the qualifications as well. Thereafter, I know it's a political role, but you will understand. Let's take an example. You are led, or your manager is somebody with a BSc degree or a BA degree. You are having a PhD. Can you see now the knowledge gap? There are certain things that because the mere fact that it comes to play even in the workplace, you have something that you are, I could say, smarter than them, because there's some more information that but they'll keep on suppressing you because it's come from you. We have that level in the workplace. So for me, really, they need to focus on the youth development. It starts from primary education levels and then come to universities. Let's see what qualifications are being offered that are needed in the near future, and how can we use, because there's a number of publications we come across that come with solutions. We talk about, currently we suffer with energy. We go for load shedding for about 3 to 6 hours a day in most areas, which is a bizarre. That's why industries, some of them, they close shops. So for me, it's more of the solutions lie on those young people. The solutions lies in the universities, the research that they're doing them, because they're very applicable. If they can get relevant individuals in place so they can see how can we translate this research into productivity. I remember back in the days, somebody presented a great paper about utilizing converting energy using the ocean, the windmill, just generating energy from there. That thing was never translated into a business. Why? There's no political interest. So for me, those are the things that the solutions lie on the young people. They have to get more of them involved and listen to them as well.
I appreciate and love what you're saying, but then I'm going to be a bit radical in the sense of we've got Rwanda and they're going through the restorative work, I'd call it. And he's basically said, actually religion as well is an issue. Basically what we've talked about. And he's like, if you're going to be in a mosque, you need to be educated. If you're going to be in a church, you need to be, let me see your degree. Because people have turned it into businesses and they're abusing men and women and children, essentially. So flipping that into South Africa and taking that model, do you think that model would be good and appreciated with what you coupled with what you've said in South Africa, or do you think it's too radical and it will actually cause a lot more commotion?
It's a good thing if you look in the long term, but it can cause a lot of commotion. I think perhaps what we need here, it's more of the church leaders to stand stand firm and strong on their position about the position of the church. Because what we suffer a lot in South Africa, I know that you've seen that in the news, we've got the number of bogus churches. People that come across in any other African countries and open a church for financial gain. You see it when I see a pastor, have a meeting with the pastor, you have to pay 10,000 rand just to be touched by the pastor. So for me, those are the things that we have to address first as the country with regards to churches before we jump on to the burning issues about ensuring that people that are in charge of those churches, they need to show a documentation that they went to school. Because you can't just wake up one day because you're a public speaker, you open the church, you're influential and everything, get people. So they need to check those things as well to make sure they are registered in the system. Yeah, that can be radical in South Africa and can cause a lot of turmoil because we are religious people in South Africa generally. Yeah.
But no, I just thought of that because you've mentioned the papers and you've mentioned in terms of the younger people having PhDs and they're being managed by people with A levels or O levels essentially, or an undergraduate, and how they will be oppressing that individual. So I thought of that scenario. You didn't mention the third course that you would scrap off from the universities. What's the third one? You thought I forgot.
I don't know if I forgotten about it.
No, we're still here.
I think within humanities department, some of the qualifications they offer, they are redundant. They add no value within the system. Yeah, I won't articulate individual, but humanities is a department that must zoom in and really look at the relevance of some qualifications. And we have a lot of intake in any university, both public and private, but humanities is something that need to be zoomed in. We still need, don't take it away from me, we need people that, because I think one of the things we're going to have as we are a nation, a virtual nation, people are going to be more stressed and depressed, they're losing jobs, they are being abused. They need a lot of counselors and we need a lot of those to be pumped up, but some of them within that particular sphere of humanities, they do away with those because they add no value in the development of the country.
I love that. Thank you very much. Going back to the paper that was published in regards to the windmills. So I was thinking in my little head, actually it's a big head, in terms of Elon Musk. Is it Elon Musk? I mean, he's South African, so we've been told. And he's got this amazing idea and he's doing great work in terms of trying to get the electrical side of things moving. So in your opinion, do you think my guy just, pack up your things, come back home and help us? We're suffering here. There's load shedding. Like, do you get what I mean? I'm trying to study. The electricity is gone. I'm watching the TV. Like, now I have to buy generators from China. I'm helping their GDP.
True.
to prove literally they are eating, lobster, and I'm still here. So, do you think we need to put a public appeal to the man and say, come back home and help us?
I I know for him moving, it's more of ensuring that he will do better in the state. He does better anyway because of the business and how the government embrace businesses. Because
Mm,
if we can put that public request to him, come back home, help us to do this, then you'll go back to say, is the government keen and willing to allow or support that growth and development? Because sometimes the government could be a stumbling block for certain creativity. Because if you are, there's why entrepreneurs, if they see they're not being supported, they rather go to a country where they can do better and make sure that they achieve what they want to achieve and change
mm,
the world. Like is quite a is a big is an entrepreneur and a businessman. So he doesn't want stumbling blocks, because I think it's not him also who left the country. There's another businessman who left because of how they support businesses in this country as well. So it will be a nice thing to request that for him to come and impact knowledge
mm.
and assist us in fixing these challenges. But the challenge would be, will the government keen to embrace and support that individual? That's the question that we might struggle with, in my own opinion.
Do you know what? And thinking about it, I think they might appreciate him coming back because, the BRIC nations, they're doing okay. So TikTok tells us, not the
Mm.
news. I prefer TikTok.
Prepare
Um,
TikTok.
and we've had a few scandals in terms of Al Jazeera, the gold mafia, as they call
Mm.
them, and all these things that are going on. So the people who are set at the top, they like money, and they
Mm.
don't realize the value of the diamonds, the gold, all the minerals that we have. They like the paper.
True.
And I think they'll appreciate a man to come in and say, actually, there's more value in the minerals and the soil than the
True.
paper that's printed.
Yeah.
That's just the paper. Even if you put it in
Yeah.
your house and it catches fire, it doesn't mean anything.
True.
Essentially, do you know what I mean? It's just a piece of paper. The value
Mm.
is the minerals and the soil. Do you
Yeah.
think that would be beneficial, or
No, definitely that would be beneficial in terms of making that awareness. I think you touched on a very critical thing. We have soil in this country. We've got mineral reserves. I think we're doing quite well there. But it's more of ensuring how can we transfer that into money and creating more opportunities, not allowing people to take our minerals without getting anything from it. I remember I was in a museum somewhere in Amsterdam. I saw one of the diamond was coming from Africa. In South Africa, actually, the biggest diamond they had
Mm,
in that museum. But to find out they mine, they take it outside and purify it, come back to be sold to us at a higher price. The people that are mining it are not benefiting at all. So there's a lot of awareness need to be done. I think when we look at the decision that taken negotiations prior to 1994, few individuals are still benefiting, of which the majority of South Africans are suffering. While we have so many natural resources that are not converting into, like, people that are residing in those areas are not benefiting at all. Their lives should be, much better because they are coming from that particular area. No, they're not. So those are the challenges that we are facing. Hopefully, a political shift might address that. Yeah.
okay, you said we didn't really benefit. So do you think the blame is Thabo Mbeki when he took over?
It's
It's
more.
just-
I would. I wouldn't blame him as a man, because these are the negotiations that were done when we negotiated freedom. So it's
Mm,
the group of negotiators. That's where they were too soft and not being clear about certain issues that needed to be addressed. Yeah,
but he
they
came in
Taman Begi
after.
took over. Yeah, it came in after. Yeah, it
He
could
could
be
have
part
made
of
a
the negotiation.
change. He was part of the group.
But Noma, once you've agreed, if they've agreed, this is the agreement. You guys are giving the land back, but we're keeping our resources, and they
Mm.
sign on that one. So it's going to require a political shift to say, let's go back and revisit this agreement that was made. It doesn't benefit us. But anyway, people want to let it go of those resources very easily.
Okay, well, on to
Mm.
the next chapter, which is the Bongani and Aisha consulting. Could you please take me through that in terms of what it is, how it works, and we can educate the world together?
Yes. So the concept came, okay, what I do on the part-time basis,
Mm,
I write like annual reports for companies, and I get they charge me. I review people's documents, like the theses, and I charge people. So this year I decided that I'll formalize this and make it official because I've got a lot of skills I've packaged from microbiology, biochemistry, facilitation skills, mentoring skills, to mention the few. So like now I have been getting these requests from people and doing this side job. Why can't I go all full out and having a consulting firm that I can start? For now, it's just only me and one employee. They wanna take it big. We've got 2 clients so far, and we are offering the services that they seems to be happy about these services. Because one of the things that we hope to achieve, not only doing copy editing, but also want to train, offer webinars, workshops on how to write, on how to source funding, on how to write that winning proposal, and how to identify gaps and work on research questions and stuff like that. So that's the area that you also want to venture into to educate, not only providing that services.
amazing. I love that. And in terms of your other love, which is the traditional medicine, then,
Yes.
are you working on some products that people could purchase in the near future, or are you just solely focused on research? Where are you in terms of that?
Yeah. So what we hope to achieve, I last year I established a research group at the University of Fort Hare. It's called Integrated Research Medicine Unit.
Mhm.
So within the unit, we working with the healers. We just, because those are people that are knowledge holders. We work with them. They come to us with a claim. What we want to achieve in the long term. If a healer comes with a claim, we have people utilize the medicine for treatment of various illnesses. We want to evaluate it, make sure we go through safety and efficacy, and take it to product stage. They will
Mhm.
have a right to that product. We're gonna, because we are working with other partners as well, to make sure their dreams are realized. Because some healers, they they've learned through COVID that they can actually consult over the phone. They can actually put your medication through Postnets or any other PEP or any other transporting industries. So they do that now. So what you want to do, and make sure that their products now are packaged and are validated, and their claims are approved in terms of science community, and assist them to register. If, for instance, I go to India or go to China for a conference, I'll go with that particular healer, and the healer will present some part as well. If we publish a paper, the healer will be part of that publication as well. So that's our biggest vision. We are doing differently, unlike other scientists that they come in, they get the medication, they work on it, they go and become billionaires. We want to work
Mhm.
with them because that's their knowledge information. I also have my own key research area that I'm focusing more on diabetes because it's a topic close to my heart because my mom died of it. She always felt that the Western medication was not doing justice, but she was not exposed to a African traditional medicine at that point because she was a hardcore Catholic. So now,
Mhm.
for me, it's my social responsibility to make sure that I find answers and help other people who are suffering from this. Because when you're diabetic, you also you might have a challenge on the wound healing. Once you have a
Mhm.
problem with the wound healing, you are likely to be attacked with the gangrene where you lose a limb. That's a challenge that people go through. So if you can find this solution, we can help quite a lot of people who are diabetic.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. Could you just for the audience at home, what is
Mm.
a healer?
Okay, a healer, we have a healer is a divine means, somebody who can connect with the ancestors. So those people, they connect to ancestors. Some, in most cases, because I'm a researcher, they will burn incense and then light candles and do the prayer and invite to ancestors, and then they get the messages and transfer that to a person.
Mhm. Oh, sorry.
If it's
So
not gone yet.
so we call them sangomas, don't we?
Yeah, sangomas, yes.
Yeah. So in terms of, okay, so just for the audience at home, so Sangoma is a healer, healer is a Sangoma. So there's somebody that I've seen on, he's actually a scientist just like you, and he deals in African science, but he's looking at witchcraft and the science of flying at night and and you know we've all had stories in regards to that and the science of actual witchcraft, African witchcraft, not anything else, and how it
Yes.
works, and you know how people can cause somebody to be struck by lightning. You know that's his focus, because he said it's quite intriguing, it is a science, and he's also looking at the healing properties of witchcraft essentially. So, you know, linking into to your work, does your work relate to some of the African practice, you know, in terms of, you know, when they're speaking to your ancestors and stuff like that? Do you focus on that, or do you mainly focus on the healing properties in terms of, or they'll say, mix this and this, you'll be fine, you can walk, or what's your focus on? Because I think it's intriguing anyway.
Yeah, it is. No, this was the paper that you share with is quite intriguing. It's interesting. We're looking forward to read the outcome of the black magic. But our primary focus is more on looking towards their healing properties. But however, and one of the things that when engaging the healers, they said the other challenge they're faced with, you might be at school, then might have a calling. They don't know what to do with you. You might have a calling at work, in the workplace. They might not like the way that you dress, or they might not support that. So there's another challenge as well. So we're brainstorming ideas of having webinars, engaging industries, engaging workplace and schools to tell them, look, if we see these particular signs, or this doing like this not need to be happening, or these are the people that you should contact, because at the end of the day, these things are happening in our communities. But mainly our focus is more on working with those healers that've got a claim. I've got a product. I've been treating people about this, because you know when you meet the healers or sangamas, they're very focused. They'll tell them, I'm focused, specializing in this particular disease. They can treat other diseases, but their main focus is say, I'm focusing on children. Either it could be stomach ache or anything of that nature, or a toothache. They are good at that. I remember my grandma was very young. Then he was making something that we call it umhlabelo, which is it's a mixture of about 3 to 4 plants that assist you if you've got broken bones. It can assist you if you went into labor, to assist the labor period. It's reduced in terms of the pain that you go through that. And also, if you've got an operation, you drink that particular concoction, it helps you with the healing process internally on that one. So I was very young to get the recipe. I'll be a billionaire now if I was at this age.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. I mean, I don't think I'm privy to that knowledge, if I'm being honest. And to me, it's sounding really fascinating, in regards to that, and also in terms of, you know, is the black magic, in terms of how it works. Because I found it really interesting to know that somebody has sat there and gone, actually, I can write a research paper, and I need to understand how the African science works, and also why these people will choose to fly. You know, I don't know if it's true. I mean, I've never seen anybody fly. So I have no idea. So I find it quite interesting. But in terms of if people want to get in contact, because you've mentioned a lot about your work, and also some of the work that you do when you travel with the healers and the presentations that they do, people might be interested and intrigued just as I am. How do they find you?
I'm on all social media platforms, from Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter,
Oh,
and on the website as well. If they Google
yeah.
my name, Dr. Bongani Nkala, they'll find me. Because
Yes,
all my
thank
social
you.
network are interlinked. I just popped out there, yes.
Amazing. So I've got the you know, the final question. It is the last one, you'll be glad to know, because we've been chatting for a while now. I'm sure you're
Yes.
sick of me. And the question is, what are your thoughts on PhD Hard Talk? You've agreed to be a guest and to share your life on this platform. And what can I do better to make it better?
I think one of the things that are going through my mind when I got an invitation, because I'm so used to being invited on the television or a radio interview, they give you a set of questions that you must follow. So I was on a bit on the edge, like, I'm gonna meet Norm. I don't know what I'm gonna be saying. Should I do a presentation? Because I've never seen anyone present. But no, it's gonna be a conversation. We're gonna be sitting and conversing about this, and it's quite enlightening. What you're doing a great job, I must say. Because like when I listen to the previous conversation, I can see because like you're exposing scientists, you're exposing people to share their knowledge about their degree. You're also exposing people to share about what worked or didn't work and what it is that you do besides your research. It's get a platform that we've talked about a lot of things about what I do. And for me, it's a great platform also to ensure you're promoting people because for me, I'm passionate about learning about other people's stories. It moves me. I don't want someone to say, depression is this, and that. This how you avoid depression. But I don't hear someone say, I have been going through depression. This what caused it, and this how came about it. Or in our conversation, you can say, no, look, have you tried this and that? And because sometimes your brain shuts down, they don't do anything. That's the main problem. No, like let's try and engage you on the physical activities to get more sociable. Because try to avoid being alone all the time. Try to talk about it. Because like one of the things that I've observed, young people, especially men, don't talk. They say less. They bottle things inside. We are brought up in the generation that men are strong. Men don't cry.
Mhm.
I don't think there's
It's
anything
sad.
more that you could add on the program. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And thanks for the opportunity really to give me this platform. I was feeling like, but hey, last time you invited me, I got sick. And then I made a commitment on the Easter weekend. Like, oh Lord, it's Easter weekend. I see a message. But oh my goodness, Noma she won't want to see me again.
No, things happen, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and for educating me as well. I've learnt a lot today. So thank you very much for your humility. I think that was the biggest thing. And in regards to the next steps, then. Don't forget to subscribe to PhD Hard Talk and share and like. Remember, hashtag project dissemination to the world and hashtag sustainable knowledge to the world. And thank you so much, Dr. Bongani Nkala, for your time, your presence, your knowledge, and your feedback.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you.